Now that you have a solid understanding of how to navigate the Linux file system, using commands like cd, pwd, ls, and tree, and that you understand the overall hierarchy of directories on a Linux system, it is time to move on to the next essential skill: manipulating files and directories. This means creating, copying, moving, renaming, and deleting them. These operations are the foundation of any practical work on a Linux system. Whether you are setting up a security audit environment, organizing scripts, managing logs, or configuring a DevSecOps pipeline. Every cybersecurity specialist spends a significant amount of time working directly in the terminal, and file manipulation is one of the most frequent tasks performed. Mastering these commands will allow you to work efficiently and safely, avoiding destructive mistakes that are irreversible in certain contexts. The touch command. The touch command is primarily used to create an empty file. Its basic syntax is touch file name. For example, if you want to create an empty file called notes.txt in the current directory, you type touch notes.txt. If the file does not exist, touch creates it. If the file already exists, touch updates its timestamps, last access time and last modification time, without modifying its content. This second behavior is sometimes used in scripts or automation tasks to signal that a file has been touched or checked recently. You can create multiple files at once by listing them. Touch file 1.txt, file 2.txt, file 3.txt. This creates 3 empty files in one command. This is particularly useful when setting up a project structure or preparing placeholder files. From a security perspective, touch is often used to create log files, configuration files, or flag files. Understanding that it can also silently update timestamps is important. An attacker or an analyst may use this behavior to manipulate file metadata, which can affect forensic investigations. The mkdir command. The mkdir command stands for make directory. It is used to create one or more new directories. Basic syntax: mkdir directory _ name. For example, mkdir audit _ results. This creates a new directory called audit _ results in the current working directory. You can create multiple directories at once. mkdir log scripts reports. This creates 3 directories simultaneously. One of the most important options for a mkdir is the p flag, which stands for parents. This option allows you to create a full directory path, including all intermediate directories, even if they do not exist yet. mkdir p project/webapp/scans/output. Without the p flag, this command would fail if projects, web app, or scans do not already exist. With p, all necessary parent directories are created automatically. This is extremely useful in scripts and automated deployment pipelines, such as when setting up a continuous integration and continuous delivery environment where you need to create a precise directory structure in one operation. Note: if you try to create a directory that already exists without the p flag, you will get an error. With p, Linux simply ignores the fact that the directory already exists and does not raise an error. The cp command. The cp command stands for copy. It is used to copy files or directories from one location to another. Basic syntax for copying a file: cp source _ file destination. For example, cp notes.txt backup _ notes.txt. This creates a copy of notes.txt in the same directory, named backup _ notes.txt. The original file is left untouched. To copy a file into a different directory, cp notes.txt/home/user/documents/. This copies notes.txt into the documents directory. The file keeps its original name. To copy a file into a different directory and rename it at the same time, cp notes.txt/home/users/documents/old_notes.txt. This copies the file and renames it to old_notes.txt at the destination. Copying directories requires the R flag, which stands for recursive. Without it, cp will refuse to copy a directory. cpr audit _ results/home/user/backup/. This copies the entire audit _ results directory and all its contents into the backups directory. Important options to know: the I flag, interactive, prompts you for confirmation before overwriting an existing file. This is a safety measure. The V flag, verbose, displays each file being copied, which is useful when copying large directory structures. The P flag, preserve, keeps the original file's metadata, including its timestamps and permissions. This is very important in forensic contexts, where preserving original file attributes is critical to maintaining the integrity of evidence. Example combining options: cprp evidence _ directory /media /external _ drive /backup /. This recursively copies the directory while preserving all file attributes. The mv command. The mv command stands for move. It serves two distinct purposes: moving files or directories from one location to another, and renaming them. Basic syntax. mv source destination. To rename a file. mv old_name.txt new_name.txt. This renames the file in place. No copy is made. The file simply has a new name. To move a file to another directory. mv notes.txt/home/user/documents/. The file notes.txt is removed from the current directory and placed into documents. Unlike CP, the original file no longer exists in its original location after a mv operation. To move and rename at the same time. mv notes.txt/home/user/documents/old_notes.txt. To move a directory. mv audit_results/home/user/archive/. Note that mv does not require the R flag to move directories. This is a key difference from CP. Important behaviors. If the destination is an existing file, mv will silently overwrite it by default. This can lead to data loss if you are not careful. The I flag, interactive, prompts for confirmation before overwriting, which adds a safety layer. The V flag, verbose, shows what is being moved. In a security or DevSecOps context, mv is frequently used to organize log files, rotate scripts, archive reports, or restructure project directories after a scan or test run. The rm command. The rm command stands for remove. It is used to delete files and directories. This is one of the most powerful and potentially dangerous commands in Linux, because deletions performed with rm are not sent to a trash folder. They are permanent. Basic syntax. rm file name. For example, rm notes.txt. This immediately deletes the file notes.txt. There is no confirmation prompt by default and no way to recover the file through normal means. To delete multiple files. rm file1.txt, file2.txt, file3.txt. To delete a directory and all its contents, you must use the R flag, recursive. rmr old_project/. This deletes the directory old_project and everything inside it, all subdirectories and all files. Key options. The I flag, interactive, asks for confirmation before each deletion. This is strongly recommended for beginners or when working in critical environments. The F flag, force, suppresses all warnings and confirmation prompts, even if a file is write protected. This flag is extremely dangerous and should only be used when you are absolutely certain of what you are deleting. The V flag, verbose, shows each file as it is deleted. The combination of R and F, written as rmrf, is one of the most dangerous commands in Linux. It will silently and permanently delete an entire directory tree without any confirmation. For example, rmrf/important_data/. If run with the wrong path, or worse, accidentally run as a privileged user, this can destroy an entire system. A famous accidental command variant is rmrf, which attempts to delete everything from the root of the file system. Modern Linux systems include a safeguard, no preserve root, to prevent this specific case, but the general danger of rmrf remains very real. In security and DevSecOps work, rm is routinely used to clean up temporary files, remove old scan results, delete test artifacts, and manage disk space on servers. Always double-check your paths before running rm, especially with the R or F flags. Summary of key points. Here is a concise recap of what each command does and its most critical options. Touch creates an empty file or updates timestamps of an existing file. Touch file name creates a new file. mkdir creates directories. The P option creates nested directory paths in one command. CP copies files and directories. Requires R for directories. The P option preserves metadata. The I option prevents accidental overwrites. MV moves or renames files and directories. Does not require R for directories. Overwrites destinations silently by default. Use I to add a confirmation prompt. RM permanently deletes files and directories. Requires R for directories. The F option forces deletion without prompts. The combination RF is powerful and dangerous. Security relevance. These commands are not just administrative tools. In a cybersecurity context, they are directly linked to several important concepts. File creation and directory setup are essential when preparing a penetration testing environment, organizing evidence, or building a secure delivery pipeline. When conducting a web application audit, you might create specific directories for each phase: reconnaissance, scanning, exploitation, and reporting. File copying with preserved attributes, CPP, is critical in digital forensics, where maintaining the integrity of evidence, including original timestamps, is legally and technically required. Moving and renaming files is used when rotating logs, archiving old test results, or organizing scripts in a DevSecOps pipeline. Deletion is relevant both for attackers, covering tracks by removing logs or payloads, and for defenders, securely removing sensitive temporary files after operations. Understanding how RM works, and that it does not truly wipe file content from disk unless combined with specific tools, is important knowledge for any security professional. Finally, understanding that certain operations like RM are irreversible in standard usage reinforces the importance of working carefully in the terminal, especially when connected to a production server or a live forensic image.